Hey everybody, Kimosabi here, giving you a little follow-up video from yesterday and something that I was thinking about today, that the trend is up on the daily. Just very simply speaking, you have higher highs and higher lows. And in yesterday's Bitcoin study slash update, I was anticipating a potential move like this to come down to match, be some kind of running flat or something like that. That might be false to think that that's going to happen, only due to the trend being higher highs and higher lows. That is possible. It's certainly possible that this type of move does repeat. However, I would like to give an invalidation for that, seeing as we do have higher highs and higher lows. This may be your higher low right here. Totally possible. So, in this liquidity area, any longs that are taken from this area should be, you should skim some profits there and definitely raise your stop loss to break even if you do take that. That should be a stop loss. Anything below that, you're probably taking out this liquidity, in my opinion. But I was looking at the chart and I'm thinking that what if we're doing this? Just to maintain the higher highs, higher lows, and then we repeat this leg over here. So it would be like this is your breakout, and then you're back testing, then you break out again, and you back test again before doing this move up to 81,000, and then retrace back to, say, 76 to repeat this leg and then go for another leg up. Totally possible to do. It's something to watch out for, seeing as the trend is up on the daily and the weekly. So the weekly and the daily are up. The 4 hour is still technically down. So let's zoom into the 4 hour. So here we see on the 4 hour, since all-time high retest, we've had a low, a lower high put in, and here's your lower low, lower high, which I do it on a closing basis, but still a lower high, lower high, lower low, lower high, a lower low. So for a 4 hour to look for a bullish setup into the daily cycle low, you might end up getting it earlier in November than I anticipated. I was anticipating November 10th, but we could be having it now. And the opportunity may be here as soon as this 4 hour closes a higher high. Then you look to buy the higher low. So what may be ideal in this scenario is you have these wick highs right here. If you can get the 4 hour to close right up there, giving you a slightly higher high without taking out this liquidity, coming back down to the daily open, or maybe taking out this lower liquidity back to this support, that might be an excellent buy for a stop loss right there to come up and grab that liquidity and maybe progress further. The way that I trade it on a 4 hour, I would definitely wait for the higher high close to buy the higher low. You could maybe enter a small position there if it's just going to keep going, but I do like to buy the support after making a higher high. And I definitely shave some profits at liquidity. And there's definitely liquidity up here. You should find some sellers up there based on the weekly wick that I updated in the last Bitcoin update video. And that should be somewhere around 71,000 to even this liquidity. So if you see a scenario where price does somehow make a higher high, higher low, and gets above here and retraces, any break above that, you're targeting those and likely a break all-time high. And then you see how long you stay up there, maybe back test, and then you can resume. The liquidity is still down below at 64,000. There's a few wicks down there. There's probably a lot of liquidations that might get hit. There's a lot of liquidations up top as well. So this may be the bullish consolidation before breakout. It's possible. I'm open to all options. I just wanted to let everybody know what I was thinking here. I'm still very interested in 64 to 63,000 with that fair value gap and all the liquidity down there. Hopefully get a bounce there, but 66,666 was that monthly wick that I covered in yesterday's video, and that may be all you get. It's the most bullish retrace you can get, and price may just continue up from here. Does it depend on who's president? No, I don't think so. It could just be a completion of a pattern, some kind of ABC there. And this leg up could be matching that leg there. And then the way you started was the way you finished. And that can be complete right there. And that's all the retrace you get, and price may just rocket up here. Definitely take profits along the way if price does end up moving up for you. And I'm definitely interested in 64,000, like I said yesterday. Getting even farther down the rabbit hole here on the 1 hour chart. This does look fairly like an ABC. I think it measures like an ABC as well, which I tend not to like because everybody else sees the same thing. So if you were to measure that leg down and project it from that high, you come right to the 1-to-1 fib extension. It's a little too clean. It's like almost too pretty to just be an ABC. So yeah, is that all you get? Maybe. I never trust it though. It's kind of what the market wants to show you. But what I wanted to show you was getting into a trade, the trade that I took Sunday and the trade that I took today. So the Sunday trade, I just happened to notice it. It was sometime in the afternoon, getting this move over here. This has been my area of interest on the larger time frame. So the way that I usually set up my trading is once price makes it to an area of interest, I look for a reaction or a change in behavior, the way that I call it. So you can go as low as the 1 hour chart. You can get it down to the 15-minute. That seems to be fairly reliable. I do believe I got into this trade right down there at a 15-minute higher high, and I closed that out as soon as you get liquidity. And then you had a 1 hour higher high close. So that closed a higher high. That told me to buy the higher low. Any back test, I think I actually bought that order block right there. Don't know the exact price. But buy the order block, stop loss goes down at the low, and expect for a higher high. This didn't end up going very far, so I ended up getting stopped out, and I did not take profits. Usually when I take profits, it'll be at the 1-to-1 fib extension. It didn't make it up there, and that was not too bad of a loss, because I did move my stop loss up to break even, and that stopped me out right there. And then price continued down, and today, I think that was New York close, around 4 o'clock, 4:30. We had this finishing move at the end of trading, and then an engulfing candle and a higher high close. That tells me to try to buy the higher low. And now we've got a higher high. Of course, taking some profits as soon as you break liquidity, raising stops to break even. So my stops are already, I think they're at the daily open now. So that's a little bit in profit. But that's the way I enter trades. I wait for it to come into my interest zone, and then I wait for a change in behavior. So the same thing with a sell setup. If I want to short the market, I look into my area of interest, mark it out, and if I see a change in behavior, say market is trending up and I want to short it and I see a lower low, then I try to sell the lower high. Get into the lower high, stop loss goes at the high, and see what the market gives. So since I'm already in that trade, let's take a measurement from the low to this high and project from that low. We're already at the 1-to-1 fib extension, so I'm pretty sure that take profit triggered on 25% of my trade already, and that's what has kept me consistently profitable, is taking 25% of the trade off at the 1-to-1 fib extension and at any liquidity. If they tend to line up, that's even better. And that's just the 1 hour trade. Then if the 4 hour closes a higher high, then I'd look to get into a 4 hour trade and trade that trend. Something that I did notice is there's not as many views on the first video that I put out on this YouTube channel, and it just describes trend, when the market changes behavior and how to pay attention to it and how to capitalize on it. Once the market is doing something different, you need to listen and you need to go the other way. So that's up or down, either way. In fact, I may need to re-record that video and try to explain it a little bit better, or maybe it doesn't even have good audio. I really don't know. Back here on the monthly chart, what I was discussing earlier, that wick, and we came very close to it. We didn't quite touch it. I kind of wanted to touch it. Maybe we'll get it tomorrow. But yeah, this is the most bullish backfill of this candle that you're going to get. You may get it all the way back down to the open, just to check it, I guess, and see if there's liquidity down there before pushing up. Anything below that, I wouldn't really like that. Maybe half of this wick would be really deep, down to 61. But I'd like it to stay as high as possible. That gives you the most bullish outcomes if the market wants to stay strong. So look for your higher highs, higher lows if you're looking for a buy setup. I'm personally going to be watching the 4 hour, see if it gets the higher high close. Try to buy the higher low. This can wick the bottom and still close as a higher low. That's some of the best trades you can get if you do come across that. How it doesn't change the trend and takes liquidity but doesn't change the trend. Those usually take off pretty strongly. So always pay attention to the close of the candle. That determines trend, and the rest is just guesswork, I guess. So hopefully that was helpful. Keep your stops tight. Have a good night.